Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. Today's episode is about perfectionistic patterns, reinventing who you are from the ground up. How you leave good for great as a perfectionist. I am giving you the never before told story of why the Unfuckwithable brand no longer exists and how I fortified this experience of reinventing my business into a framework for you to figure out where exactly you are resistant to change in your personal life, in your business. It works always and everywhere. Oh, and you want to make sure to listen to the end because there is a Podcast Insider exclusive that I'm going to be giving to you towards the end of this episode. So you want to make sure to listen to the whole thing. Why are we talking about perfectionistic patterns and reinventing who you are from the ground up? Why aren't we talking about it? No, really, why is because anyone who defines as a perfectionist, or if you are over 35 or you are successful, this major blind spot happens to us when things are pretty good, when we have the success. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We end up living lackluster lives because we are gaslighting ourselves. Instead, you could be experiencing the magnificence of the reinvention of yourself. Also, why we're talking about this is there is so much that's out there that's all about improving yourself. And it's like, we could do better than that. We could do bigger than that. Like us as perfectionists, we see the real world and we also see the ideal, and we have this drive within us to bridge that gap. So it's like, why are you improving yourself when you could be reinventing yourself? I am a master at reinventing both personally and professionally. For those of you that are not first-time listeners to Perfectionism Rewired, you have been with me and have seen it firsthand how I have reinvented this podcast many times over, my business many times over, and me, myself, personally, many times over. This reinvention is the most powerful thing that I coach on. And for the first time ever, I am opening up my toolbox publicly. Why? Because too many people go through their whole life without evolving to the next possibility of what is available. They never get to see the dimension of who they really are because they are always just treating the symptoms. When you are reinventing your perfectionistic patterns, this is not about, oh, I'm just going to overcome this, or I'm going to come up with this Band-Aid solution to like B- work, for example. This is really about rewiring who you are and reinventing from the ground up without erasing. Reinventing your perfectionist patterns, that doesn't mean erasing them. It means that straight up changing and completely reinventing the way that you view them, the way that you experience them, and your responses to them. Perfectionists, we usually live our lives as though they are a multiple choice question that, of course, we want to get right. And we study very hard, for that exam. But the truth is that you have infinite choices and infinite options, even if it's not what is in your current purview right now. And when there is that opportunity of like, here's a blank sheet of paper, anything you want, like let's dream up. What is that for you? That's really uncomfortable for us as perfectionists because we want the step by step. We've been told like the direction of where we're supposed to go. We go to high school and then we go to college. We get married and then we have kids. We get a job and then we buy a house. We work until we're 65, 70, and then we retire. There's always been this like trail that has been laid out for us. Like the destination has already been put into our own GPS. And what I want to start showing you is systematically how I've changed my life and most recently my business by putting aside all of that and using my perfectionistic patterns to create and to invent something new, how I have rewired them. Which brings us to what happened to Unfuckwithable You, the podcast. I was not thinking at the beginning of June, like, you know what? I want to reinvent my entire business. I just want to burn it to the ground and I want to learn all these new things that I have been avoiding for the past couple of years. I'm going to learn a new language and I'm going to do some like really, really hard stuff. No, I wasn't there at all. It actually started with you, with the podcast. The listenership, the community continues to grow. And the number one feedback that I get is, oh my God, this is so good. I wish I would have known about you earlier. Or like, it was always on accident, the way that the podcast seemed to be discovered. And so I was like, okay, how can I make the podcast more discoverable? I consulted with a major podcast coach. Yes, there's a coach for everything, podcast business coach. And they asked me some questions about the title of my podcast. And it was like, I forget what they were, but basically it was like, I failed. Like it was just FFFFF. Like it was like, oh, no wonder people can't find me. Not only is the name of the podcast Unfuckwithable You, but also Google, Spotify, Apple, they have restrictions around serving up profane content. Even putting an asterisk in Unfuckwithable, it was flagged. The analogy that I came up with is it would be as though the Unfuckwithable You brand was like me riding on horseback, but I wanted to go on the freeway. Riding on horseback is awesome. It's not fair or kind to the horse to take it on the freeway. It's not kind to the people and the podcast to insist on going horseback everywhere. There are some really incredible opportunities for you as listeners to the podcast. I wouldn't be able to give them to you if I was still riding the horse of the Unfuckwithable You brand. So what did we decide to go with? Perfectionism Rewired, because perfectionist, super punk rock, and truth booth, my own perfectionism has been the most crippling, but also the most dynamite aspect of myself in all aspects of my life. And one thing that didn't come into light for me until this year was that the fierceness, the intensity that we bring as perfectionists, not everybody has. Like, because I am a perfectionist and because I see the capacity and I bridge that gap and like I take strides towards it, and like I really enjoy working. I really enjoy making things better. I enjoy growth. I enjoy challenging things. I would be so bored if I were retired at 37. I'm like, that sounds like cruel and unusual punishment. I don't care if I could shop all day. Like if there's no growth, there's no joy. For me, I looked around and I did not see anyone talking about the way that I view and work with perfectionism and perfectionists, which is that it's not something you need to pathologize. It's not something to overcome. It's like, why fight against yourself? Like, I am not here for self-loathing. And also, like, the biggest one, all caps, is I am not here for victim mindsets. And it puts you in a powerless place when it's all on perfectionism. It's perfectionism's fault. Oh, it's because I'm being a perfectionist. It's like, it's perfectionism. It would be like if we thought what was wrong with racism, let's use that because that's jarring. And that's the first example that popped into my brain, is like, if the issue with racism was like, we just need to get rid of all the white people. Let's get rid of all the white people because they're racist. And so let's eliminate Caucasians and then we won't have racism. Well, we know that that isn't true. It's not all white people. It's some white people. And also you can be racist or biased, prejudiced, like no matter what your ethnicity is. Perfectionism, which is an enduring identity marker, this is something that's a part of you. It's a part of who you are. Trying to be less of it, you're just working against yourself. It would be like, how can I be less of an autistic? You wouldn't be saying that. You might be talking about how you can work with your autism. What are things that you can do that make things that will give you insight, but like making it so it's this adversary relationship where it's like, I'm autistic and that's why my life has gone to shit, like puts you in a powerless position. And like, I am just not here for that. I am here for you to take ownership of this incredible gift that is perfectionism. You will see when you learn how to play with the perfectionism, it becomes an ally instead of an adversary to you. A question that I imagine you're wondering when it comes to my own reinvention is, why would you change the podcast? Why would you change your business? Everything's going well. The reason why I did, and the reason why you want to, is because you reinvent yourself because you want to be the best version of yourself. You take everything with you that you want to take with you, like I'm taking y'all with me, and you leave behind anything that you don't want. For you, when you think about your identity that you have been living into that has created the current level of joy, the current level of prosperity, the current level of relationships, the current level of just like overall coolness that you currently have, like one of the things that is so challenging for us when we reinvent ourselves is that you must let go of what is working in order to grow to this new next extraordinary level of you. Like I joke with my clients, like there's no fisting, because if you look at your hands and you have like a closed fist, you can't catch anything with that. You can't scoop anything up. You got to give up good in order to be great. We get a lot of messaging that's like, accept what you have, don't want for any more, just be at peace, just be in the present moment, just be present. Don't push yourself, right? Don't hustle, don't stress yourself out. Like just relax and enjoy your life. Like just relax, like take the summer off, CLG. But hey, you know why this feels like eating glass for us as perfectionists? We are hardwired with an urge inside of us to be more. We want to run towards our ideals and bring them to fruition. We crave meaning in our life, and that is how we evolve as a species. We have a Ferrari drive inside of us as perfectionists, this urge, this desire to create and to evolve and to grow. We have that push-pull. We have that fight against ourselves, the gas and the brake. And then we also are like, how can I get out of my own way? I fortified this experience of reinventing my business into a framework for you to figure out where exactly you are resistant to change, uncovering and addressing the root causes that are preventing change and are making you resistant to your reinvention. One thing that has come up as I've shared this with clients is you need someone else there to like spot you for the first time. The human mind is resistant to change and your brain even more resistant to change. And so part of the reinvention that I have done for y'all in my business is there are 2 ways exclusively for podcast listeners that you can get your hands on this so that you can find out why you are resistant to change, and to reinvent your perfectionistic patterns. So the first one is where I am going to coach you through this resistant to change framework step by step, and you are going to leave with the tool. Part of this process is that you are going to be understanding your resistance to change and your resistance to being that next level of yourself. Like, even though it sounds amazing and you want to do it, you want to go for it. Like, what I have found stops most people is they don't understand why they feel that resistance. And so what they attempt to do is to run over themselves or to fight the resistance. But then what happens is that because our resistance is in our subconscious and our unconscious, which controls at least 95% of the way that we operate, the results that they get aren't sustainable, and or it feels like pushing a boulder up a hill in Arizona, 130-degree heat with no shade or water. And one of the ways I like to explain it is like this. Like, what's so interesting about reinventing our perfectionistic patterns is it actually requires a much deeper level of intellectual work than you would expect. And a lot of the processes that I've gone through in order to recreate myself a few times and to reinvent, my business, it is very intellectually challenging. And like, you need a spotter there. But what's so cool about this is that once I coach you through it, what you will discover is that so much of the power inside of you is underutilized. Like, since I've done this, like, I have so much more access to my brain, to my imagination, to my energy, to my creativity that I was not accessing before because I was making myself wrong and trying to fight against my perfectionistic tendencies in order to get traction, in order to reinvent myself. So that is way number one for podcast listeners. If you are interested in that, you can go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/contact and you'll see all the info there. The second opportunity is for the perfectionist who dares to want more without feeling greedy or ungrateful and are sick of being given the generic advice to find balance, do B- work. This is for the person who doesn't want to go out to pasture in perfectionism recovery, but wants to revolutionize and wants to reinvent the relationship that you have with yourself. That you want to stop the constant obsession and rumination over what other people are thinking, and to free yourself from the fantasy of balance and to really bridge that gap between knowledge and action, and to embrace the superhero that you are. If you're nodding your head yes, listen closely, because I might have the solution you've been searching for. My Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, a 6-week, highly individualized one-on-one coaching experience designed exclusively for perfectionists like you. Your perfectionism is actually your greatest asset, and leveraging it can be hard work or take years of guesswork. That's why in Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, I give you my key frameworks to taking charge of your Ferrari drive, proven to work even for the most type A, high-strung, stubborn perfectionists. In the first 30 days, you will cut your burnout in half, increase your professional fulfillment by at least 150%, and your self-compassion will go up at least 250%. And that is just your first 30 days. So if you want to save yourself years of trial and error, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator today. Or if you want to take the easy way, just click the link in the show notes to check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. This reinvention of your perfectionist patterns, it starts with you, but it expands to your family, it expands to your teams and to your community. And this is ultimately how we create change in a positive way, by choosing it instead of waiting until you get to such a precipice in your life that everything is so fucking awful that then you take that jump. It's like, why don't we make our baseline a little bit higher by choice? It is cutting edge work that is backed in neuroscience, and it is only available here. So if you found today's episode valuable, there are 2 ways that I can help you with this. The first way is a single session, giving you this reinvention framework. I'm going to give you a tool that you can apply to anywhere where you're resistant to change for the rest of your life. That is not an exaggeration. Once you get coached through this method, you will be able to apply the concepts and skills to your next challenge independently. What I mean by that is that I'm giving you the seeds. I want you to take this. I want you to share it with your team. I want you to share it with your family. I want you to share it with your clients. No, I'm not charging a licensing fee or anything like that. I just want to get this in the hands of as many people as possible. So once you get coached through this method, you're going to be able to apply the concepts and skill. Okay. The second way that you can work with me, if you're like, hey, you're speaking my language, I'm tired of this version of me, I'm tired of the rinse and repeat life, something's got to give, I want to change, I offer the accelerator. The importance of the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator is that when it comes to all of these frameworks, if you press all the buttons at once, the system will jam, which is why you have me by your side, curating the frameworks to work with your unique flavor of perfectionism instead of against it. If you sign up in August, I give you a personalized book you get to take with you forever, ever, ever that has your own playbook. You get to be part of a wonderful community. It is a private one-on-one coaching experience, but there's also a community aspect to it. It's ADHD friendly. I looked at my best clients and their best results and some of my clients that were like 70% of the way there. And I said, what could I do to get them to 100%? And I put everything in that along with the best practices. Instead of things taking months or years, we can do them in days and weeks together. I invite you to apply to the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. There's a link for that in the show notes. You can also go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator. Action step for today. We're talking about the gas and the brake. I want you to go and try this with your car. I want you to go and just try and drive with the emergency brake and the brake on. That doesn't work so well, right? So sit in your car for like an hour or two and really like ask yourself, like go deep. Ask yourself if you've been living your life this way with this like overabundance of caution. Now, I did that only for about 3 decades. But what hit me as I slowly pulled my foot off the brake, like I'm not getting anywhere this way. Those of you that have that Ferrari drive, you can learn how to take charge of the drive so you don't always have to be driving with the brake because that's just not a fun way to drive. This episode with timestamped notes is available to you at perfectionismrewired.com. While you are there, you can also subscribe to the Nobel Prize of newsletters, The Perfectionist Guide, which includes the best insights from the podcast and a fire tip you can put into action right away to rewire your perfectionist tendencies. To subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter.